If you want to be really great at something, you kind of have to be out of your fucking mind.
Not even low-key, like super high-key. I am late as fuck to work, but I guess I'll just bring it up with the boss. Oh wait, that's me. that was so fucking corny. Oh my god. Well, on the bright side, check this fucking out. Daily pill stack, as always. Cheers. Getting better. So I meant to record this segment yesterday because it was a personal experiment that I did on myself all day yesterday. And the experiment was to eat like a normie for a day, which kind of sounds fucked up because the example that I used it off of was my parents, but I wanted to put myself inside the mind of somebody who wants to change how they look, but then I wanted to see what the actions behind it were. So I decided to eat exactly how my parents eat for a day. Now, for those of you who don't know, I live with my parents, but I usually eat in a completely different way than they do. I either fast the entire day, or if I do have more than one meal a day, it's usually a different meal than what my parents have. And I'm gonna get into this now, is because boy, did I pick the absolute perfect day to just do this experiment. Because I did not plan this at all. It was completely off a whim. I woke up in the morning and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna do this. So like I said, it was the perfect day because listen to this shit. Breakfast, pancakes, lunch, pizza, dinner, Five Guys burgers and fries. And I'm now, granted, you guys are probably like, what the fuck? You're on a hypercut. Why the hell are you eating all this bullshit? I told myself I was gonna give myself one refeed day over the course of this entire 4 to 5 week cut. And I figured, why not kill two birds with one stone, have this social experiment, which is more like a personal experiment that I'm doing on myself, and at the same time have my refeed day all in one. So I killed two birds with one stone from that aspect. And the biggest lesson that I genuinely have to give you guys as a result of, quote unquote, this is the name that I gave for it, eating like a normie for a day, is that you can still do everything that you have to do while eating like shit. Like, I still trained 3 times yesterday. I still got all the work that I need to get done on my computer for the day. But here's where the lesson is that eating like that, eating those shitty type of foods makes it so much harder than it has to be. Genuinely. Like, I don't think some people actually understand how detrimental what you put into your body food-wise has on your mental, not only capability, but just like mental health in general. Because I found that bitch part of my brain that tells me to like, oh, you could just skip this, put this off till tomorrow, you don't have to do this, you don't have to do that, just put that off. Like, that voice was significantly louder than it usually is. It's still there on the other days, but I've become so adept at being able to just shut that part of my brain off and just say, do the fucking work regardless. But it took a lot more mental fortitude than usual to be able to break through that initial wall to where I would get into the flow state of a work block or get into the zone during my training session, for example. And it's because of all the bullshit in the food. And that is why I will forever, to the day I die, preach fasting as a crucial tool when it comes to not only staying lean while building muscle, but at the same time, if you are in a creative endeavor like entrepreneurship or any type of personal endeavor where you need to be mentally locked in during your work, fasting is one of the most important tools, because your gut and your brain are directly linked to one another. And if you're constantly digesting food, and if it's shitty food at that, your brain is going to be using up so much. If you imagine your brain like a battery, if you have no food in your system, your brain can allocate 100% of its resources to whatever task you're doing, whatever training session you're in. Mentally, you are going to be the most locked in that you could ever possibly be. But if your brain is constantly eating every couple of hours, like I was yesterday, because apparently, I didn't know this, but my parents eat genuinely like every 3 to 4 hours, which is absolutely insane to me. And so not only that, if your brain is constantly digesting food, there is a large contingent of that percentage of brain points. If you imagine it like a percentage point, there is a large percentage of your brain's capacity that is being used to digest all the shitty food that it's intaking, instead of allocating that into mental focus, into creative endeavors, into thinking new thoughts, critically thinking, whatever it might be. And that is the power of food. So that is why I will always say, you should be fasting. I don't care what your goals are. I don't care if you want to put on 50 pounds of muscle. You still should be fasting for a large majority of your day. I don't care if, I've heard this 1,000 times, oh, my metabolism's fast. Oh, I can't gain weight no matter how much I eat. Every single person that has ever told me that, I actually sat down with them and audited to the exact gram, to the exact calorie of everything they ate on a day-to-day basis over the course of the last week before I talked to them. And they're not eating nearly as much as they think they are. And the reason behind it is because, one, they don't have the perceptiveness to be able to actually even track their calories. So they actually don't know how much they're eating. They think and they tell me that they're eating, oh, bro, I'm eating 4,000, 5,000 calories a day. And then when we actually sit down and audit it, they're actually eating like 2,500 calories a day. And 90% of that is coming from like carbs. They're not getting enough protein in. And they're like, oh, I can't gain weight. My metabolism is just fast. And I'm like, bro, well, no wonder you're not gaining weight, because you haven't done your due diligence to actually figure out what your maintenance base level of calories is. And then you haven't done your due diligence of spending the 1 to 2 weeks to actually track what that maintenance is, and then eat above that maintenance, see what the scale's doing as a result of it, and then go from there. And then at that point, you understand you don't have to track your calories anymore. Most people think you have to track your calories for the rest of your life. Absolutely not. Eventually, you get to a point where you know your body so well, which doesn't take that long, honestly. You just figure out your body, figure out what your maintenance level of calories is based on your body weight. And then from there, whether you want to cut or whether you want to gain weight, you just eat a little bit over or a little bit under, track that for a week, see what the scale does. If it doesn't move a significant enough based on your subjective standards of how fast you want to get to that goal, then you can just be like, okay, then I'll up it a little bit more, or I'll decrease it a little bit more. Like I said, whatever your goals actually are. And it's really that simple. It is that simple. It is a numbers game. And if you can just win the numbers game from the nutrition aspect of it, and then on the flip side, training, you literally just show up and train your dick and balls off every single day, take every single set to failure, include drop sets, include length and partials, include assisted reps if you can, if you have a partner. Just train your dick and balls off and you will grow. It's none of this like upside down fucking cable fly bullshit that Jeff Nipper does. No, it's not use the Macro Factor fucking app or any of this Kali AI where you fucking take a picture of the food. No, you don't have to do that for the rest of your life, because that shit is boring. It is very robotic, and it makes the whole part of fitness not fun. The whole part of fitness is to be able to enjoy the fitness that you've built. I enjoy the physique that I built because I didn't get here tracking every single microgram of rice. No, I didn't get here like that. Don't get me wrong. I've spent a significant season of my life doing that, but it wasn't forever. And I understand now that you don't have to do that every single day in order to get the result that you want. It's a simple black and white numbers game. Simple as that. But going back to the story of eating like a normie, which is the title that I gave this, it sucked, honestly, and it makes complete sense now, because I understand that a lot of people in the world eat like this on a day-to-day basis, and those are the exact people, not saying that my parents are these people, but a large percentage of these people who eat similarly to that say they want to lose weight, say they want to get in better shape, say they want to change how they look in the mirror, say they want the number on the scale to go down. But then if you look at how they eat on a day-to-day basis, pancakes, pizza, Five Guys, fast food, all of this shit, it's like, well, no wonder you've just been running on a hamster wheel for the past 5 years. No wonder every single family reunion that you show up to, you're like, oh yeah, I've been trying to get back in shape. Like, brother, you've said that for the past 5 family reunions. It's not like it's not rocket science. It's really not. You just have to find a system that works for you. And the system, what works for me, is a very simple one: fasting. Because like I said before, I am a fat kid at heart. I love food. So yesterday, quite honestly, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was fun. It was fun getting to enjoy those foods for the first time in a while. It was fun getting to, have Five Guys for the first time in 10 years. Be able to get a milkshake, be able to eat pancakes in the morning. But on top of that, like I said, that did not change my actions outside of that. It made it significantly harder. I still trained 3 times that day, but getting into those training sessions were significantly harder. Being able to focus into the work that I was doing on my computer was significantly harder. So the synopsis of all this, to give you the SparkNotes version of it, is that yes, you still can eat like shit if you want to, but why in the world would you make it so much harder on yourself when it doesn't have to be? It doesn't have to be that hard. Now, don't get me wrong, fasting is hard. Don't get me wrong, eating real whole foods is hard, because it's unfortunate that the reality that we live in today, these real foods, these whole foods, are on the more expensive side compared to some of this processed bullshit. But on the bright side, fasting is free. So if you can cut out a large percentage of your day to where you're not thinking about food, you're not preparing the food, you're not cleaning up after the food that you're eating, it makes life so much easier, because not only do you spend less money and you can actually afford some of these whole foods and these real foods. Now, granted, you could just make more money if you wanted to eat more, but that's a topic for a whole nother day. But in combination with spending less money because you're not eating as much and you can actually purchase the whole real foods, but on top of that, you have so much more time throughout your day. When I did my last 4-day fast, my last 96-hour fast, I genuinely had so much free time on my hands. I was like, it's crazy to me how much time we actually spend thinking about food, what we're gonna prepare, and then actually preparing it, and then actually eating it, and then cleaning up and doing the dishes and doing everything after you eat it. Like, if you think about how much time you genuinely spend thinking, preparing, eating, and cleaning up after the food that you eat on a day-to-day basis over the course of the weeks, over the course of the months, and over the course of an entire year, it's a lot of time. So that is why I say implement fasting, especially if you are an ambitious man like me and you are trying to run your own business on top of working a job, on top of trying to get into the best shape of your life as well, which I think a lot of men do. Implement fasting. I promise you, it will change your life. Everything is war. There is nothing in my body right now that wants to turn on this camera and talk to you guys right now. I'm sorry, but that's just the truth. But the reality of it is that everything in life as man is a war. And that is exactly why it is the very things that we do not want to do that will yield us the results that we want, and no one else is willing to do it, which is why we will have what they want but never will have. That is the beautiful thing about it. The fact that I don't want to turn this camera on is war. Being able to focus and put my brain through being able to concisely put all of these words together, even when I don't want to, is war. Training every single day is war. Trying to find the money to retire my mother in the next year and a half is war. Trying to find the money to propose to my woman in the next 4 months is war. Trying to find the money to move out of my parents' house within the next 8 months is war. Every single aspect of my life is war, and I don't want to do any of it. I want to retire my mother, don't get me wrong, but you understand the concept. The things that require that level of effort that is required, the things I have to do on a day-to-day basis in order to get those things is war. And they are things that I do not want to do. You guys may think, oh, well, you've trained every single day for the last 1,405 days straight. Like, you have to enjoy it to a certain degree. No, I don't. But I love what the result gives me. The war is what I hate, but the result is what I love. Working a job on top of building my online business, on top of creating content, that is war. I don't enjoy it. I enjoy documenting my journey to a certain degree, but I don't enjoy having to turn this camera on and, like I said, continuously put all of these thoughts into my brain out into words that you guys understand and extract the lessons from. I don't enjoy that. It's difficult. Every single aspect of a man's life should be difficult and is difficult. And if it's not, the result of that is going to be a life that is not worth it. It is a life not worth living. The things you don't want to do give you a life that you do want to live. The things that you do want to do give you a life that you don't want to live. That in and of itself, I could end the video right here, but I'm not going to because I have a couple more points to make. The people of the modern world genuinely look at somebody who is as dedicated as I am, who has a mission that is as purposeful as mine. They will look at me and genuinely, they say, I have OCD, ADHD, you have an anxiety disorder, you're not happy. Who the fuck said my goal was to be happy? Because it's not. My goal is to inspire. My goal is to leave a positive impact on this world as big as I possibly fucking can. That is my goal. There is no happiness in this equation. My goal is to be as strong as possible, to make as much money as possible so that I can leave the biggest positive impact on the world as possible and change as many lives as I physically can in the best way possible. There is no happiness in that equation. But the beautiful part of it is guess what you end up being when it's all said and done? Happy. If you chase happiness, you end up being unhappy with the life that results in that. But when you chase a mission, when you chase a purpose, when you chase impact, then that's what awards you the ability to be happy when it's all said and done. And for so long, for genuinely the first 22 years of my life, I chased happiness. I chased instant gratification. I chased hedonism, drugs, alcohol, porn, video games, lust. All the instant gratifications of the world that you could possibly ever imagine, I found a way to get them into my life because I was chasing a feeling. And to a certain degree, I'm still chasing a feeling, but it's a different type of feeling. It's a type of feeling that I get from getting a text message on my phone, like the one that I got from one of my clients this morning, that it was a huge paragraph of him explaining like all the new different types of things that he's trying with his new gym equipment that he just got ordered to his house, and he's sending me form videos, and I'm looking at his physique, and I look back at his physique back at the beginning of the year versus now, and how extremely confident he is within himself now, and how he tells me that he is genuinely like living the best life that he ever has before in his life. That is what makes me happy. But the only way that I was able to get to that point is through all the prerequisite work that has led me to this point. All the time and effort that I have put in myself to make my own transformation, to build the knowledge within myself so that I can expel it onto him so that he can apply it into his life and make his own transformation and then tell me about it, which gives me that happiness, that gratification. It's delayed gratification. It takes a lot more effort and a lot more time, and it's a lot more difficult in order to get there. But the feeling between the two pales in comparison. That's what it's all about. Because so many people fall for the trap that you can get something for nothing. You can get something that you want for nothing, for no effort, for no time, for no investment. And that is the farthest thing from the truth. People will agree with that statement. They will say, oh yeah, of course you can't get something for nothing. But then they will immediately go on YouTube and look up 6-minute six-pack ab routine, how to make 10K a month in 30 days, how to do this, how to do that, quick, as fast as possible. That's not what it's about. That's never what it's been about. Anything worth doing is going to be difficult, and it's going to be hard, and it's going to take a fuck ton of time, and quite honestly, it's going to take a lot longer than you expect it to. I genuinely thought creating content when I first started about 1.5 years ago, I was like, I'm gonna post every single day. I'm gonna be fucking rolling like a year in and all this shit. Hell no. I barely have over 1,000 subscribers. Don't get me wrong, I've made a lot of progress along the way, and I'm still happy with the progress that I've made. I hate the word happy. I'm gonna rephrase that. I'm proud of the progress that I've been able to make over the course of that year, starting from nothing with absolutely zero information, no team, no editing team, none of this shit. It's all been me. I'm proud of the progress that I've been able to make, but at the end of the day, it takes a lot more effort than I originally anticipated. And it's the same thing with my physique. I thought when I first started training 10 years ago, when I was 15 years old, I thought, you know, by the time I'm 18 and I graduate high school, I'm gonna be walking across the podium jacked and all this shit. I looked basically the same 3 years later. Now, don't get me wrong. I started in the exact same position as the YouTube example, where I had no information. I had nobody to help me. I had to figure this shit out all on my own. And as a result, I made little to no progress for the first 6 years of my fitness journey. And it was only then where I actually started making progress, because I actually understood my body. I understood what exercises I needed to do, not what exercises other people were telling me to do. And over that process of genuinely 6 years of not only one, inconsistency, which was one of the reasons that I didn't make any progress, but two, the just putting in the reps, figuring the shit out, is what gave me the opportunity to be able to make that progress now and be in the position that I'm in now. People will hear the statement that you can't get something for nothing. They will agree with it. They will agree that everything in life as man is a war. And they will understand the fact that nothing in this life as a man worthwhile and worth achieving and worth accomplishing is going to be easy. None of it is going to be. It is all going to be difficult. It is all going to take time. It is all going to be extremely strenuous, and you are going to want to quit, and you are going to question yourself day after day after day after day after day. Everyone will agree with all of that. But then their actions will resemble the instant gratification. Their actions will resemble a mediocre life. Their actions will resemble the fact that they could possibly, in their minds, they think that they can get something for nothing. So the lesson behind all of this is that I want you to understand, I want you to really, really understand this deep in your heart, is that if you are just simply willing to do what others won't and stretch it out over a long enough time frame, and not even put a fucking time frame in your head of how long you think it's gonna take, and just say, I don't care if it takes 3 months or if it takes 3 years before I see any type of tangible progress. I'm just gonna show up every single day. I'm gonna do exactly what I need to do, and eventually I'll get there. I don't care how long it takes. If you just show up with that mindset every single day, anything in this life you can have. If you just say, this is the goal that I want to achieve, nothing else matters, here we fucking go. And you just go. And you just do what is required every single day of your life, and not care about how long it takes until you get there, you will get there. All you have to do is just not quit. I've gone through so many relationships over the years of people who say they want to do this, say they want to do that. I'm willing to do whatever it takes, bro. Okay, show me. And day by day, I do what it takes, they do what it takes. I do what it takes, they do what it takes. And slowly but surely, I watch them just slowly just come off my shoulder. Slowly stop working as hard. Slowly sleeping in a little bit more. Not doing as many reps in the gym. Not doing as many sets. Not working as many hours. Not putting as much intention and intensity into their work. And ever so slightly, they just fall off a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And eventually I come around and ask the question, so, it's been however long. It's been 6 months. What results do you have to show? And it's none. And at that point, I just look at him and I'm like, I can't be around you. That's how a lot of my relationships go. And that's why I've gone through so many relationships ever since I started this journey, is that people can't keep up. And there is one singular solitary fucking person on this planet right now that has been able to keep up. And it's been over a year. And he lives 5,000 miles away from me. And he is the closest person that I have in my life. And I genuinely wish on every single one of you that you can find somebody like I have, that is just as crazy as you are, that works just as hard as you are, that wants to achieve things just as monumental as you are. Because every single time one of us have been tested, we've pulled through. And I've looked at him or he's looked at me, and we're just like, you are exactly who I thought you were. You have done exactly what I thought you were going to do in this situation. You figured it the fuck out, and you pulled through. You didn't make excuses. You didn't complain. You came to me for advice, which is what brotherhood is about. You came to me for guidance. We discussed it over voice notes. We discussed it over calls, and we figured it out. And now we are better as a result of it. That is the power of brotherhood. And that is what this community, this movement that me and him are building is about taking every single one of us on this planet that is wired like that wants more out of their life, that wants to become as close to, if not become, the 100% version of yourself as possible, and being able to do whatever is required in order to get there. And what is required in order to get there is my half of the equation, which is living in the red line. It's in my bio, it's in my Instagram. And what living in the red line is living, not just going there, not just going to those limits when it's convenient, but living at the edge of your physical and mental capabilities every single day of your life by doing what is required in order to achieve the result that you want. That is what it comes down to. And if you do that, like I said, on a long enough time frame, and not even worry about the time frame of however long it takes in order to get there, then you will achieve it. Because at the end of the day, this whole concept of becoming the 100% version of yourself, it is a lifelong pursuit. I genuinely believe that there will never be a day that you wake up one day out of bed and you look yourself in the mirror and you're like, I've done it. I am a 100%, like, that is not real. It's not. It is a lifelong pursuit. There's a Matthew McConaughey quote that he said during one of his speeches at one of the awards that he received, where it was like, somebody asked him like who his hero was, and he said, oh, it's the version of me 10 years from now. And then 10 years later, the same person asked him, okay, who's your hero? Did you accomplish that? Like, are you your hero now? And he said, no, ask me again in 5 years, ask me again in 10 years. And it's the concept of always chasing something, always chasing a better version of yourself. Because as you continue to improve, the version of you that you thought that you wanted to be, that was the max level version of you, once you get there, then the goalpost is moved. And that's the beautiful part about it. That intimidates some people, thinking that it's a never-ending pursuit and that you never get there. You never get to that finish line. That intimidates some people. But to me, that's enthralling. And I know that that's enthralling to some of you guys as well. I know there's more of you out there. And that is the whole purpose behind documenting my journey of living in the red line every single day and my pursuit of becoming my own 100% version of myself, in the hopes to inspire as many of you as I possibly can in order to do the same. I understand that all of us are unique and all of us have our own individual strengths and weaknesses and kinks and quirks and things about us that make us who we are. But at the end of the day, the process in order to get there is the same. It is living in the red line. It is living at the edge of your mental and physical capabilities every single day of your life in order to get the results that you want, no matter what the result is. That is the foundation. That is the cornerstone. And the end result is getting to the end of your life and saying, I gave it everything I had. I left no stone unturned. I left no page unturned. I gave it everything I had. I gave it 100% in this life. And that, in my opinion, because I've envisioned this a lot. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna die, but I hope I die like a true leader and a true warrior on his shield, in the battle, in the grip of it. I don't want to just be one of those older people that just wither away on a deathbed. I don't think that's for me. I want to die on my shield. And whenever that is, whenever God thinks that it's my time, I want to be able to, in my last waking breaths, think to myself, I gave it 100%. And that feeling that I've envisioned so many times that will wash over me, knowing the impact I left, knowing the security that I provided to the people that I care about the most, and the version of me that I became by living this way, that feeling that will come over me in my last waking breaths, I know that that will be incomparable to any other feeling that I have ever experienced before in my life. And that's what I'm going for. Because anything less is a dissatisfaction. It is a dishonorment to the blessing that we have all been given by God, which is life itself. And if you are going to go through life not giving 100%, then you are not fulfilling your duty on this planet that God has given you, which is to give it everything you have. It's simple as that at the end of the day. Just give it everything you have. And whatever goals that you have rolling around in your head, whatever milestones that you want to achieve, whatever impact that you want to leave on the people that you care about, listen, you don't have to want to have a global, universal movement and impact billions of people's lives like I do. But if you just want to take care of the people that you care about the most, it's still required. That is still what is required, is to give it everything you have. It's universal. So I'll leave you with this. In the hard moments, when you question if this is worth it, when you question, am I really cut out for this? When you question everything about yourself in the moments where you want to quit, you want to give up, things are hard, God is testing you, and it feels like everything in the world is going against you. During those moments, I want you to remember this quote. If this is how I have to feel, and this is what I have to do in order to get to where I want to go and accomplish the things that I want to accomplish, I'll take it 10 times out of 10. I love you, boys. Have a wonderful night or day, whatever time you're listening to this, and live in the red line every single day until you become your example of your version of a 100% man.